Another video here to go over the number manager and best practice when it comes to your phone numbers. So as we've spoken in some other videos, quite a few other videos, because it's something we should always be thinking about, we always want our delivery rate to be 85% or better. Response rate can vary a little bit more. We do want to see a around 30%, 25 to 35% on a first contact campaign. When it comes to follow-up campaigns, that can drop quite a bit. But really what we want to focus on is that delivery rate. When it comes to response rate, that can have a little bit to do about what your template says, who you're contacting, etc. But what we can really control a little bit more is that delivery rate. It should always be 85% or better. And if we're following all of the best practice as covered in our best practices video, and we cannot get that delivery rate over 85%, it could be a time for some new phone numbers. So come over to your number manager. We'll look at our active numbers for this video. And so we can see here when our phone numbers were created, the last send, and the last received. We can see the status as well. So we're putting a little bit more pretty soon into what goes into the status so we can have really accurate phone number health. So this is something that we're going to want to keep an eye on. Good, great. If it's moderate, we could be seeing a little bit lower delivery rate for those numbers, and if it's poor, it's probably time to release them. They've probably been flagged quite a bit, and that tells us that they're no good anymore. We want good, healthy numbers. We always want healthy numbers because they're going to deliver better, we're going to reach more people, we're going to close more deals. So if your delivery rate is suffering, we've switched up the templates, and you still come here, the status is not good anymore, it could be time to release those phone numbers. The older phone numbers, again, what I've mentioned in some other videos, we've kept some of the same phone numbers for a long time. So you can keep some of the same phone numbers for a long time as long as you're following best practice. But once they've been flagged, we probably want to release them. Well, when it comes to releasing phone numbers or deactivating phone numbers, these are the two columns we kind of want to look at. If they've been recently used, if they've been recently sent, especially if they've had messages recently received, we probably don't want to actually release them just yet. Because releasing phone numbers is a permanent action. Once they're gone, they're completely gone. We no longer have access to anything associated with that phone number moving forward. We will have our phone number history or conversation history. However, we will not be able to receive any new messages coming into those released phone numbers. We won't be able to use them to send anything out. They're gone. So keep this in mind when it comes to the last send and last received columns. This is why we actually have added this deactivate feature. So before we release phone numbers, we might want to deactivate them. And so deactivating them ensures that inactive phone numbers so all of these inactive phone numbers are no longer going to be used for new initial batch sends. We still have the phone numbers, but they're not starting new conversations. And so that ensures that, yes, this phone number may be poor, but if they're still getting used, we're still receiving messages into them, we're still able to receive messages, and we're still able to use them to send messages to those conversations that it's already connected to. So that ensures we're not starting or sending a new message to somebody we already have a conversation with using a new phone number. We can keep that same phone number, it's just not being used to start new conversations. Then, once the last activity on the phone number is old and we feel comfortable that it's not going to get used anymore going forward, we can actually release the phone number. And the benefit to that is it will bring your billing back down. So if you're paying for an overage of phone numbers, if you are on the pro tier, so you have 40 phone numbers included, but you have 50 phone numbers in our number manager, that means we're paying $50 or $10 extra per month on our subscription. So when they're inactive, we still have the phone numbers, so we're still paying for the phone numbers. Once we release the phone numbers, we no longer pay for those phone numbers, so it will bring our billing back down. Then we can actually buy new numbers, also here within the number manager. So just click Add New Numbers, select the market you'd like to buy them in, and how many. So maybe I've now released those 10 phone numbers I was referring to. I can check the availability, It will let us know if it's available or not because we are completely dependent on inventory from the carriers. So occasionally there are not phone numbers available. We need to come back later, or we can write to support to ask for another area code that works for our market. But in this case, there are enough phone numbers that I want, and so I can buy these 10 phone numbers, and then if I'm paying for, or if I'm already at that 40 phone numbers that are included in my subscription, I'm now going to add $10 worth of new phone numbers to my account, which is going to be great for our, again, number health and overall delivery. The more phone numbers we have, the better when it comes to delivery rate. So if we can afford that extra $10, $20, or however much a month, then we want those phone numbers. The more phone numbers, the better. If you guys have any questions about how releasing and deactivating, adding new phone numbers works, just taking a look at phone number health and all of that, please reach out to support@leadsherpa.com.